Hello, my name is Lewis Smith. I'm the creator of the Creatures of Harmony Valley, and I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to draw your own creature using free software. And this is for the Mac. I'm not too sure what software you can use on a Windows machine, but this is for the Mac. So first of all, you need to go to gimp.org. That's GIMP, which stands for GNU Image Manipulation Program. The GNU just means that it's a free license. So you download that, install it on your Mac, and hopefully you can create something like this. And now, unfortunately, what I'm going to do today, GIMP is not as powerful as the software I used to create Betty the Beautiful Butterbee, but you can create something similar, maybe a little more basic, and I'll just show you how to do that. So let's just go into GIMP and we'll create a new one. But you can choose whatever size you like. I'll just go for the default. So first of all, let's get some color set up. So let's go for an orange color. That'll do rightly. And we'll select the ellipse select tool. Now, unfortunately, I'm not well versed in GIMP, but I'll try my best with it. So there we go. We have an ellipse selected, and we're going to edit, and we'll fill with the foreground color that we chose. So there we go. We've got this orange. So let's select none and get rid of that. Now, what we want to do next is to get rid of that perfect shape. We want to make it imperfect and fuzzy and furry. So but select the brush tool, and you can try different brushes. Good idea is to bring your mouse pointer back up to the screen so you can see roughly the shape you're going to get. Let's see. Actually, this will do okay. Okay, now we'll just select the size that we want. That may be a little too large. Bring it down a little. Yeah, let's just go for that. Okay, still with the same foreground, exact same color. Let's just paint over that. We're just going to go around the edges. I think you can start to see what happens. So we're kind of getting a bit of a fuzzy look to it. And just go around the edges. Now I'm doing all of this with the mouse and not with my graphics pad. So basically anybody with a Mac can do this with GIMP. And that GUN license means that it's open source software, as far as I know. So developers are adding to it all the time, which is wonderful. So you can probably find new features and plugins and so on and filters for it just by searching GIMP and whatever. And of course at gimp.org you'll probably find links to things there. So with that done, we're going to go into select by color, and we'll just select the whole image. Okay, so next we've got a rough furry object there, a bit like a tribble maybe from Star Trek. So new layer, we'll create a new layer. Sorry, I just have to find this new layer. Okay, just accept the defaults. Now what we want to do, like I said, sorry I'm not used to this program, we're going to use a pattern fill. So not foreground fill, not background color fill, but pattern fill. Now there's lots of textures and patterns here. You can take your own. I've used in the artwork I did for the book, I used a lot of my own textures. I just went out with a camera, I took pictures of water by the shore here, different things like that, and you can add your own textures. But we'll just go with this fibers one for now. Yeah, it's quite basic, but it'll do. So we want to make sure that we fill the whole selection, not similar colors, but the whole selection. And in this new layer, make sure you have the new layer selected, and just fill that. Okay, now that's covered up everything. So the important thing here is to find the mode. I can play with different modes, but I think overlay is probably the best. So there we go, we got a fuzzy ball with a pattern on it. That pattern's very regular for me, and it's not something I would use normally, but we can mess it up a little. We can go to blur and Gaussian blur. Actually, let's just cancel that. Make sure I've got the right layer selected. Yes, I do. Okay, blur, Gaussian blur. Now that's too much. So play around with this. And you'll have to excuse the sound of the birds and dogs barking outside. Okay, bring it a bit down. No, it's off. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so that's still very regular, but it's better than what we had before. So let's do another new layer. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, when you're opening up a new document, make sure you select, I'll just show you it actually, and go into the advanced options, and you want transparency. Okay, so cancel that. Okay, so this new layer, let's pick some very contrasting colors to the background color that we had. Okay, so there's the foreground color is green. This next one, let's try maybe, I don't know, purple. Okay, now with our brush selected again, you can use the same, but you can use whatever brush you'd like. Let's just stick with this one. And you add a new layer, just little blotches around, and play with the sizes. It doesn't look very different. Okay, swap the colors over. And while this is still selected, you'll notice that you can't go off the edges, which is handy. Okay, now that doesn't look very good. The only reason I add those kind of blotches in is because I don't like the perfection of it all. So we make that overlay, and there we go. We got some imperfections, some dirt, some light, some shade thrown into it. Okay, let's produce a new layer. And in this layer, we can probably create some clouds. So in here we'll find clouds. I don't know if that's actually any good. Yep, I'm not going to use that. But we can look for some noise. Oh, it's on an empty layer, which was a bit silly. Sorry. Noise. Let's try the spread. Yep, as you can see, there's little bits of noise now around this. Okay. So there we go. That's kind of messed it up a little. So now we need to add some shade to this. So we're going to pick a soft brush and round, and now we want black. Okay. So again, you can actually put this, while it's all selected, you can put this up quite high. And what you need to think about is where your light is coming from. If we look at the Betty, well, the light is kind of coming from up here down, so you can see the shade on this side and the bright on this side. So let's just do that. Okay, that's our new layer. Again, that's just too imperfect, or sorry, too perfect. Let's blur that with a Gaussian blur. And we can probably blur this quite a bit. That could work. Let's try that. Yep, that's not too bad. Okay, so now we want to add some light, some highlights to this. So again, new layer. just accept the defaults. And let's make this white. Right down here, the corner. Okay, so same again. Up here. This time, we want to screen this maybe. Yep, screen. Oh, and actually on this, possibly overlay. You can play around with these, but no, maybe multiply is okay. Yeah, leave it at multiply. So we have our white layer highlights, and we'll do the Gaussian blur again. Excuse me. Just so we can see what it looks like. Okay, that'll do. Okay. So there we go. There's our basic shape. That's the body done. So let's select and go none. And we'll our ellipse selection tool and a new layer. And let's create an eye. And we have white selected, so again edit and fill with foreground color. Okay, there we go. So let's do the same thing again, the same technique of adding shade and highlights. So I'm not doing anything spectacular, not doing anything maybe quite as complicated as Betty, but you can certainly use this. With a black. Again, we've got the round one selected. Now that's way too big. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. Again, we can blur that. Now you need to bring the blur right down because it's a lot smaller. That'll do. Yes, that'll do. That's okay. Now we need a pupil. So our selection tool again, and a new layer again, and let's draw something that will be a pupil. There we go. A little ellipse like a pupil. And let's make the pupils, well not pupils, sorry, it's the iris really, isn't it? Let's make it a blue color. Okay, let's fill that with the foreground color. There we go, we have blue. Now, we can add the shading onto this, so let's do that again quickly. New layer. Accept the defaults. Change this to black. Okay, and our paintbrush, and that's way too big. There we go. Filters, blur, Gaussian blur. That's okay. Now, this highlight we'll do a little differently. We want a little spot highlight, so we'll pick the gradient tool and well, we'll just pick the colors, put the foreground to white. We want black and white. So let's draw. Have we got a new layer? Yeah, we do. Across here. Now that's not the way we want to do it. So Command and undo and reverse these. So white is your foreground, black is your background. We'll just drag it across. There we go. Now if you wanted black as the iris color, you could just leave it as that. You can skip the whole blue and shading thing, but I want that white highlight to show over my blue. So with that selected, I'm going to make it screen mode. And there you go. Screen just brings out the highlights and ignores the shadow. So there we go, we have that. Now, with all of these selected, I'm going to merge down. Merge that down into that. Merge 7 down into 6. Merge 5 down. And we're just going down to the eye. There we go. So this whole eye, and we just select none. There we go. This eye is all merged together. That's all one object now, one layer. And we right click that and duplicate the layer. So let's go to the move tool. We'll move that out. There we go. We've got two eyes. Now, depending on where you drew your iris, you can flip this vertically and horizontally. Well, horizontally really you're going to want to do, but that still doesn't look fantastic, and there's no shadow. So what you can do is duplicate this again. So this is the one on top, duplicate layer. Now we're going to take the one below, and I want to lock the transparency, the alpha in it. So if I just hover the pointer over that, it should come up and say. No, it's not. Anyway, you can take my word for it. That's the transparency. So the transparencies are locked. Now I want black as my foreground color. I'll take my bucket fill and I'll just turn this one up above off. So that wasn't meant to happen. Foreground color, that's what you need to do. We had it on pattern fill, so you need foreground color. I've locked that. Okay, so it only fills the pixels that are painted and none where the alpha is 0 or transparent. So we have that while it's still blurred there, or sorry, locked. Let's take the, actually no, we'll unlock it. Okay, filters, blur, Gaussian blur, and we just, let's have a look where it is. Put it a bit more. Okay, that'll do. Now if we turn this on, it would appear that we have some shadow. And just drag it. No, wrong one. Just maybe drag this down a little. There we go. And still, I'm not absolutely happy with it. Let's do a new layer. Accept the defaults. And you're going to have to excuse my horrible Belfast accent. So we'll drag this layer right down the bottom, because we want it behind this background layer. We want it at the very bottom. And this is just going to be our shadow down here. And so we'll take our pen tool, still on the round brush. We can probably make this a lot bigger, maybe a bit smaller than that though. Okay, so we're just going to draw in shadow. There we go. That could work. I personally like to blur that a little bit more, although it did have nice soft edges. That'll do. There you go. And that's your very own little creature. Maybe not quite as good as Photoshop has worked for me doing this, but there you go, you can make your own. If someone would like to see me do a Photoshop tutorial of this, maybe recreating one of the creatures, then I'd certainly consider it. Just contact me. You can find out more about the book, The Creatures of Harmony Valley, by going to meditationmanapps.com or subscribe to this YouTube video. Okay, take care and thank you.